real quick, I'm just going to go through our current progress for the HIN, Compass HIN as a whole. This includes all of South Dakota and Iowa, so 152 hospitals. Partnerships include the Iowa Health Association of Healthcare Organizations and the Iowa Hospital Association. Again, we have 152 hospitals in Iowa, South Dakota, and Illinois, and approximately 80% of our hospitals are critical access or rural hospitals. Again, just a reminder of the goals for HIN, which is a 20% reduction in all-cause harm and a 12% reduction in 30-day readmissions. And then again, our core focus areas with the optional focus areas including undue exposure to radiation, worker safety, OB events, and MDRO and antimicrobial stewardship. So we talked a little bit about this at our last learning community, talking a little bit about our refresh for this next year, looking at reducing the number of educational offerings to make the ones that we do have available to hospitals more robust and more focused. And so we're doing more project-focused, intentional work. And many of you are involved in the Readmissions Refuel project and the Opioid Guardianship Take 2 project. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about them today, but I will say that if you have questions about those two projects or would like some more information, please email myself or Kate Carpenter, Lana Comstock for additional information. And so those first projects go January through June of 2018, and then beginning in July, we're going to be looking at two new projects, one around falls and one around antimicrobial stewardship. So we have the Antimicrobial Stewardship Summit that the Iowa Hospital Association is kicking off in April. And the antimicrobial stewardship project that we're going to do here at IHC is very much just going to be a continuation to build off of that summit. So more information to come on that at a later date. And then we are really focusing on engagement. I feel like over this last year and a half, we have really worked to engage the hospitals, but looking at more engagement for patients and families, board, leadership, and providers. So providing some of those additional services to our hospitals. So looking at our progress so far, looking at our PFE metrics, we've talked a little bit about how we have seen such a strong improvement in the PFE metrics over the last 6 months or so. Hospitals have worked really hard with their staff and with their patients when looking at these metrics. And so you can see here, going back in the beginning of the year, we've kind of stalled out, and we're just kind of moving along those same lines for several months. And then in August, we really started to hit things hard, and improvement advisors were reaching out to hospitals and having some really intentional conversations about the PFE metrics. And you can see from August to December, it has been a steady improvement in those different PFE metrics. We were just at the quality conference in Baltimore here a few weeks ago, and did have the opportunity to highlight this and the work that Iowa hospitals have done. And it has gained a lot of attention from CMS and the national level for the work that Iowa hospitals have done. So I'm going to move into each one of the focus areas. So looking at these slides, when you see that red, yellow, green, it really is based on that 2012 goal. So you can see year one target, which year one ended in the end of September this last year, September 2017, and year two started in October. So for year two, where we want to be by the end of September 2018 is that 20% improvement for all hacks and 12% improvement for readmissions. So the year 1 and 2 cumulative is looking at the data that's been collected from October 2016 to October 2017. And then you'll see the 3-month performance, kind of a little snapshot of the most recent data. So you can see for adverse drug events, looking at the rate, we've seen definite improvement. INR blood glucose, we've seen definite improvement in those as well, and we continue to see improvement in those areas. Naloxone usage, that naloxone usage in the inpatient setting, we've kind of stalled out on that one and haven't seen a ton of improvement here recently. But I can say that with the Opioid Guardianship Project, we have more hospitals that are reporting that, and I think some of what we're seeing is an increased awareness and more hospitals reporting. So, and then the statistical brief, which is pulled from the inpatient database. And I will go through, show some slides looking at graphs as well, so you can kind of see what those graphs and trending over time are looking like. There is a question asking if the slides are going to be available for those that are attending. Yes, for those that did register, slides were sent out. Some of the slides that were available were sent out on Innovation yesterday and are available, but slides will be posted on Innovation as well and sent out to all attendees. So here are some of the run charts. This one is looking at adverse drug events, and you can see back in 2015, October 2015, a little bit of a spike there. And if you remember, that was right around the time of our interim period between HEN 1.0 and HEN 2.0. And that's something that you'll notice in a lot of these slides that we saw in most of the different focus areas. And then once we really got our eye back on the ball, you can see that steady downward trend. This is the blood glucose less than 50, again, running below baseline. We're doing well with that. And INR greater than 5, again, running lower than baseline. Many of you might recall the INR greater than 5 project that we did last year. And you can see the beginning of 2017, or it would have been the end of 2016 was the project. You can see in beginning of 2017 that our numbers start to go down and we start to see some definite improvement. And then again, here's the Narcan administration for the inpatient setting. You can see that incline at the end here. Things are starting to level out a little bit. There's still a lot of variability, but this last several months, we're starting to see more hospitals report this measure and some increased awareness. And so we'll see with Opioid Guardianship Take 2 where this goes. So now looking at hospital-acquired infections. Reduction of central line bloodstream infections. Again, we have met our 20% target already with 33% improvement. Catheter-associated urinary tract infections, we've almost hit that 20% mark. And C. diff, we have not seen a ton of improvement in that area, but some definite improvement, which has been great because in months previous, there hadn't been as much improvement in the C. diff focus area. And then ventilator-associated events, we have about 18 hospitals, I believe, that are actually reporting VAE. So this one is pretty variable from month to month based on, you know, with that low end, one event can really make a big change from month to month, but doing well. And then with looking at surgical site infections, again, we don't have a lot of hospitals that are reporting SSI, And so a little variation or one event makes a big difference from month to month. So the SSI colon, we've seen some improvement, hysterectomy and hip. Just to put this in perspective a little bit, last month looking at hip, we were actually in the red, 39% negative, and that was because of one event. And so a little bit makes a huge difference in what our target looks like. And then again, here are run charts looking at the CLABSI rates. So for some of these, the NHSN measures and looking at some of the claims-based measures, you may see that last data point looking at October that it may look exceptionally high or exceptionally low. Please keep in mind that some of those later months data is still coming in for those. So some of that data may be preliminary. And then here is looking at the CLABSI rate for ICU only, or I'm sorry, the utilization ratio for ICU only and all units. And you can see a definite difference, which would be expected ICU versus all units. And then your CAUTI rate, well below baseline. And CAUTI utilization, again, for ICU and all units. We continue to see that downward trend for CAUTI. And then C. diff, a lot of variation there still, but starting to see that downward trend. Moving on to hospital-acquired conditions. Looking at reduction in falls, we've seen some improvement there, 13.4%, which is really exciting because up until the last few months, we haven't seen a lot of improvement in that area. So I'm really happy to see the continued improvement in falls. Pressure ulcers, 12% reduction. Sepsis and septic shock, a huge win for Iowa and South Dakota, looking at 63% improvement in sepsis and septic shock, and VTE -14. So this is one of those areas where we continue to look at how we can improve. And again, run charts. You can see here all falls versus falls with injury. Our actual all falls, looking at total falls, has actually gone up. But on the flip side, our falls with injury have continued to trend down. So we've seen improvement in that area. And again, we'll be doing the falls project later this year and taking a closer look at that. Pressure ulcers, we're skating just below baseline. Again, we do well with that area as well. And then sepsis, well below baseline, and lots of improvement in that area. And then VTE, lots of variation from month to month. So then readmissions, this is an area where we're looking at that 12% improvement. And I can say that nationally, we're running right along baseline. All the HINs are seeing this same trend. We are starting to see some improvement in that 3-month performance period where we're starting to run above baseline. So we're waiting to see in future months if that continues to trend that way and we start to see more improvement. I do anticipate with the work that is happening in refuel and the additional focus and the tools that hospitals are being given to really do these deep dives into their readmissions data, that we're going to continue to see some improvement there as well. And then you can see here the last couple months that there's a definite trend downward. Again, that October 2017, we're not getting too excited about that yet. It's still preliminary, but we are taking a look at data and seeing where we're going in future months. And then value estimates. This is something that is available to all hospitals within your dashboards. But this is looking at our entire HIN, all of Compass, 152 hospitals. what our value estimates have been. And so our goal for the end of year 2 total, we wanted to see an estimated number of harms avoided at 2481, and we're at over 6,000 harms avoided from October 2016 to September 2017. Estimated number of lives saved, our goal at the end of year 2 wanted to be 20, we wanted that to be 23. We have saved 36 lives, and the goal for estimated cost savings, we wanted to hit just about 30 million. And so far, the work that Iowa hospitals have done, Iowa and South Dakota hospitals have done, has resulted in over $60 million in cost savings due to this work. So congratulations, everybody. So again, some of the resources that are available to hospitals, we have our on-site assistance and training, our improvement advisors, and many of you know we've had some transition in improvement advisors here recently. Jennifer Kriegmer has left us, or is leaving us. Her last day is Wednesday, and I know everybody, we're all really sad to see her leave. And then Erin Philmeyer left us a couple weeks ago. And again, we were really sad to see her leave as well, but we wish them the best in their new positions. But Kate Carpenter and Lana Comstock will be taking on some of those additional hospitals. In the interim, we will be hiring new improvement advisors, and so you will see some new advisors come into play in the next couple months. But please bear with us and know that we are here to continue support to you wherever possible. Also, we have our lean and process improvement training that is available through Sarah Pavelka. Team Steps training, all of our improvement advisors are master trainers for Team Steps. And then also we have Teach Back training available as well. I know many hospitals did that back in HEN 1.0 and HEN 2.0 with staff turnover. If you need additional training for new staff or new resources, please let us know. We're more than happy to come out and do that for you. Also, we have physician, pharmacy, and board engagement. Dr. Don Klitgard is one of our faculty members and available to assist with physician engagement. And then we have Sarah Durr on staff to assist with pharmacist engagement that can help really facilitate some of those conversations too between your community and your hospital pharmacist. Data and analytics support, many of you that are participating in the readmissions refuel project and the guardianship project see the new analytics dashboards that are available to you, and so you'll start to see more of that as we move through HIN year 2 and into option year. And then community collaboration and care transition support. We have our conferences and online learning opportunities, Innovation as well. And so if you are not on Innovation, I strongly encourage you register. We have over 800 members on Innovation that are available for you guys to ask questions and start some of those conversations and network and share. And so we'll be doing some more with Innovation throughout this next year as well. And then our HIN Huddle email and drumbeat. So I just want to take one moment here to talk about the HIN Huddle email and the drumbeat. We attended the Stroudwater meetings that were held the last couple weeks. And there were a couple meetings where people were telling us that they were not getting the HIN Huddle or the monthly drumbeat. You can subscribe to those on our website. We also are going to be updating our subscriber list using our current contact list for hospitals. And so if you're not receiving those, please let us know, and we will be sure to get you on those lists. And there's the link to Innovation for you guys to join. And so I am going to see where we are. We're a little bit over time. I'm going to see if Sarah Durr is on here. I'm just going to open things up. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Please go ahead and throw those in the chat. One question, should we report knee and hip SSI if we have low numbers? Is there a minimum number so we know if we should be reporting or not? Typically, we say if you have 10 or less of any of those hip, knee, abdominal hysterectomy, or colon surgeries, that you don't need to report those to NHSN. If you choose to do that, if you have less than 10 but would still like to report those, you are more than welcome to, but it's not required. Question is that in a quarter? No, that is in a year. So 10 or more throughout an entire year. Sarah, do we have you on the line?